Hey everybody, what's going on? We're going to talk about the water juggernaut today. I'm gonna show you my team, talk a little bit about some things you can do if you don't have the exact units that I have, how to set it up, and how to find a little bit of success in here. It's kind of a tricky dungeon because there's a fear debuff that can go up that can kind of interrupt the run, but hopefully I can get you in a place where you can get the most reliable run possible for yourself. This is also not a free-to-play team. I want to go ahead and throw that out right now. Tree Gunslinger is going to be pretty mandatory for the setup that we're talking about here. I'll of course be working on some teams that don't include him and make them as free to play as possible, but I figured I'd go ahead and throw mine up now just to give you something to work off of in case you've got some similar stuff going on in your account, okay? So basically, we're splitting it up into two teams, and on the left side, we're just trying to put units over there that can occupy the left head for as long as possible, because when that team dies, he'll turn focus to the team on the right, and he's a lot harder to deal with. He's going to ignore a bunch of shields and do a bunch of really problematic things for the team on the right. So your goal on this left side is to just get the tankiest units possible that can also take care of themselves. Now, he does also have Oblivion on A1, so you have to be careful about units that have passives that are going to allow them to take care of themselves. But you can kind of get around that sometimes with some resistance, okay? I don't know what the limit is. I don't know what the threshold is. My giant has 71. He does still catch that Oblivion sometimes. So I don't know how much resistance you actually need in here, but the more the better, okay? Now, Water Giant is a popular unit for this, okay? He is very easy to build. He's got pretty good base HP, and he's got a very simple but effective kit for this. Unfortunately, the lead doesn't apply in here. That would be pretty helpful. But even without it, he's fine. So just basically load up as much HP as you can, and then get as much resistance as you can. He doesn't need any speed. He doesn't need anything else. If you can also get some defense, great. But basically, he's nice because he's got a passive that is mitigating some damage, and then he's got a defense buff with a pretty nice heal. So, and it's based on his max HP, which again, you can skyrocket. His gear that I have on him is not that crazy. I've got a couple of decent HP percentage rolls in these substats, but nothing too outrageous here. Nothing that you probably couldn't obtain since you don't have to focus anything else. It's not like he needs a bunch of HP and 200 speed. He just needs HP, and then if you can get resistance on him, that's great. So he's a great candidate for it, and everybody should have him. He's not really too hard to come by, okay? Another really good option for this is the Tree Occult Dancer, another one that's very easy to come by. If you've been playing for even a few days, you've got her for sure. And kind of the same principle, okay? As much HP as you can get on her so that she can heal better, put up some good shields, and sort of help take care of herself and the ally. And then we're going to split them up front line and back line, okay? Giant's going to go in the front, she's going to go in the back, and that's pretty much it. Now, I think I've seen Water Iron Fist be used over here, but again, you got to be careful about that Oblivion. Any units that have any kind of sustain and that can be tanky, and if they're tree, even better, because they'll take less damage, okay? So this side's not really too complicated. Over here is where things start to get a little bit interesting. So we'll start with the star of the show, the Tree Gunslinger. Again, I'm hoping he becomes a little bit more accessible in time, because he, at least for this setup, he's very necessary. He seems very necessary, close to necessary for a lot of the Water Abyss. It would be nice if he was a little bit more obtainable for everybody, just to give everybody a starter team, to something to build around for it. It's just so much easier with him. But basically, you're just trying to get his damage up as high as you can get it with a decent amount of speed. Not blazing fast, not even in a way that you should so much be focusing speed. Like, you definitely want to go attack percentage slot 2. But if you can get a little bit of speed in your substats, that's fine. You want him to be kind of fast so that he's a little easier to tune around, and he'll get a few more turns. As far as crit rate's concerned, if you're running the setup I'm running with Fire Clockwork, 55 crit rate is all you need. Because he's water, he's going to get an extra 15, and then the Fire Clockwork is going to give him that crit buff that's going to give him the extra 30 he needs to get to 100. So 55 is all you need, and then as much attack and crit damage as you can get on him, right? We just want him hitting as absolutely hard as we can get him to hit. So that's pretty much it. Attack, crit damage, attack for the 246, and then as much of that as you can find in the substats. And if you get lucky and get some nice speed rolls, that's even better. Now, the rest of the team is really just designed to keep him alive, set him up, and refresh his cooldowns. So that's sort of what we're going for. That's sort of the theme of the team. A really, really popular option for this is the Water Engineer Robot. Not a very hard unit to build for this either. Much like the left side, we're really just loading up a bunch of HP so that he can stay alive. He can help tank that front line. and pump out this A2 as frequently as we can get it pumped out. Having the cooldown, having the skill ups is really handy for this. It's a pretty nice heal, and it's a cooldown reduction, okay? Plus a little bit of support here in the passive is also a nice bump. So Water Engineer Robot, very popular, very easy to use, and you don't need a lot of speed because you're going to want it slower than your Gunslinger anyway, okay? So pretty easy unit, relatively obtainable. Some of you might not have it, which is unfortunate, but it's very usable. The Light Robot, I might look to rework this and get my Light Robot in the mix because I have a Light Robot that I'm loving now. Fire Robot is also a very popular option for this because the Fire Robot has immunity, and you need someone to come in and go first to get immunity up on the team. I'm using my Water Dr. Evil, so if you have Water Dr. Evil, you now have somewhere to use him. He's not, I'm not really getting much mileage out of him anywhere else, but in here, he's crucial. He's really nice for this. You get him skilled up, you have a 3-turn immunity on a 4-turn cooldown, and we're also running cooldown reducers. So in theory, he should keep immunity up permanently, right? It's not always gonna work out that way, but in theory, that's how it should go. Now, the thing with your immunity, whether it's Fire Engineer Robot, whether it's Water Dr. Evil, whoever it is, you can pull whoever you've got in your roster. They need to be fast, okay? I believe that the boss's speed is 250. I don't know if that's the exact number, but it's somewhere around 250. So if you set this up and come in and the boss goes before you, you just need to come back out and get a little bit more speed. But they need to go first. Plus 160 seems to be a pretty comfortable spot, no matter who I've built for it. I've done it with Fire Robot. I've done it with Dr. Evil. And I think I did it with someone else at one point. They just need to be fast and then have enough tank stats to not die, okay? I have mine in the back line because he's not very tanky, and I don't want to lose my immunity, okay? So, again, just someone that can do immunity. The longer they can do it and the more frequently they can do it, the better. Water Dr. Evil's fantastic for it. Next up, we've got the Tree Turtle Tank. He's one of our cooldown reducers. He's also nice because he's tree, so it's not that hard to keep him alive. You see, mine is not really very tanky. He's got decent defense, decent HP, but he's really built for Boxing Club, where I don't need him to be any of those things because he's not going to get hit ever anyway. So I've really just got as much luck on him as I can get. The thing that I recently changed about them is I made him a little bit faster than my robot, because the important thing to note about these two is that the robot's cooldown reduction effects skills can't be affected by other cooldown reduction skills, but the turtle tanks can. Heatsink can be affected by cooldown reduction skills. So if you have him go before the robot, he can use heatsink. The robot can come in and reduce the cooldown for him, and then it'll be ready again. So it could speed the run up a little bit, make things flow a little bit quicker, at least at the beginning stages of the run. The run tends to get a little sloppy towards the end, but this can help alleviate that a little bit. So I think Turtle Tank a little faster than your other cooldown reducers so that they can help him heat sink a little bit more often. But again, enough tank stats to survive, a little bit faster than your other cooldown reducers, and he's good to go. Of course, have him skilled up. Fire Clockwork, pretty straightforward. Enough tank stats to survive, faster than your Tree Gunslinger, and then as much luck as possible. Based on my testing, anything over 50 should guarantee you the 3 buffs, because he's more likely to place more the higher the luck. I think anything over 50 guarantees you the 3 buffs, but the more luck the better for multiple reasons, right? One, it just further ensures you'll get all your buffs, and 2, having more luck for these dungeons is very handy. So, tanky enough to stay alive, faster than your Tree Gunslinger, as much luck as you can swing, is pretty much the way to go with him. And then my last Nat 5 on the team, my last member and a Nat 5, is my Tree Specialist. Now, she's built specifically for Scavenger, but she works in here with that build, and she's just alleviating a lot of the threat. This is doable without her. You could run another robot up here. You could run another cooldown reducer, anybody that brings any sort of healing. If you wanted to try to slot someone else in over here and run Tree Occult Dancer here, she can also do this job. But I have Tree Specialist, and she does it much more comfortably than anybody else that I have. So I figure, why not go ahead and use her, right? So I just have her full HP build, a little bit of speed in the substats, and I do have her A3 skilled up because I want her healing as frequently as possible. She does also have immunity, which is handy. So again, theoretically, I should never be without it. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's what it is. As far as everybody's intelligence, it's pretty straightforward. I think anybody that even has it on, it's still pretty much just, you know, we want the robot to use the heal and the cooldown reduction. It's all pretty straightforward, right? We definitely want him opening up with this and using it as frequently as possible. We want him opening up with this and using it as frequently. Like it's all fairly straightforward. There's nothing too complicated going on in there. So that's the setup of the run. Basically, again, it's just designed to protect Tree Gunslinger and set him up to continue to do damage. So we'll do a run. Now, the thing about this dungeon is that I think it's kind of hard to get a team that's 100% because there's this mechanic right here, this fear debuff, where after a certain number of turns, somebody's going to catch this, and it increases the amount of damage and stuff that they take. It makes it a little bit more likely that they're going to get killed. If it goes on your Tree Gunslinger and he goes down, or if it goes on your Fire Clockwork and your Fire Clockwork goes down, or there's a couple units it can land on that can really interfere with the success of the run. So every now and then, things aren't going to go your way. You can, of course, outgear that. You could outgear the threat for sure. I would say mine is probably like a 97, 98% success rate. Every now and then something will go wrong and will fail, but this is fairly reliable. So if you can do better than I'm doing on the stats, you might be able to get it up to 100%. But as you can see, Tree Gunslinger kind of just deletes phases, and everybody else is just kind of doing their thing, setting him up. So this team, again, keeps this one occupied. So sometimes they'll die. Like sometimes the giant will go down. Sometimes things can go wrong. As long as he gets to get one A3 off in this phase, you're good to go. So sometimes they'll die and he'll pivot over, but he'll still get to get his turn. But basically, that's what the run looks like. It's pretty smooth. Most of the time, there's no problem. But sometimes, you know, sometimes things can just happen. Sometimes Tree Gunslinger, for whatever reason, will kind of like derp on his A3 and not delete a phase, and then everything gets all out of whack. Like, things can just go wrong. But for the most part, that's what the run looks like. It's pretty reliable. Yeah, give me that. Give me that. And that's it. So I'll be working on more free-to-play friendly type stuff. I think coming in here and doing this with all nat 3s is a pretty tall order. But we'll be working on some all nat 4, and I'll try to have a few different variations of it just to make it more approachable for everybody, so that hopefully you can take your roster and apply the things that I'm going over in the video to your own team and find some success in here, because it's pretty important. It's pretty important place to farm. So that's it. I hope it was helpful. If you got any other tips you want to drop for the dungeon below, please feel free to do so. If you want to hop in the Discord and get some more in-depth advice, you can also do that. It's linked below. Other than that, I'm going to get out of here. Hope it was helpful. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you later.